bums did? Guys. So put it this way. I've always said Geisen. Every single game, someone's got it wrong. Nick Kudnak, I said, by the way, it's Geisen. He's like, I'm going to say Gearson. I'm like, it's fucking Geisen. And I've just confirmed for the 15th time it's Geisen.
I went to school with him, but it was like 5 years ago.
But it's just hilarious every single game. The other one that Matt's has corrected me on is Gearson. S is silent. Yeah. But I said, I say it like Gearson. Like, so people are like, wait, did he say the S or not?
Alright.
But yeah, definitely Geisen.
Good. That's what I said last week. And then I listened to Nick and like, Gearson.
The worst one is Gearson. I'm like, it's definitely a G, not a J. But yeah, it's Geisen.
Good.
Yeah.
Is that literally every season?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. People who have live fans from NPL games are here. That's always interesting. Sky behind chef. Interesting. Always. Everyone's welcome, even if you've got a live fan.
Everyone's what?
Everyone's welcome. Yeah. You gotta go.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Ian McLennan Park in Dapto for Round 8 National Premier League's New South Wales men's football. It's Wollongong Wolves taking on Sydney United 58. Both of these teams lost last time out, which adds further value to 3 points here on the South Coast today. My name is Tim Gibson. Now let's have a look at the teams. And starting with the Wolves, Oliver Yates continues in goal. Number 2, Harrison Bunel. Number 5, Banri Kanaizumi. Number 6, James Anagnostopoulos. 7 is Woon Sub Sim. 17, Marcus Beattie. 21 is Nicholas Olsen. 24, Lachlan Scott. And to continue on with the Wolves lineup, number 25, Alex Mashivecchio, 29 is Ben Geisen, and 77 is Raphael Liai. To Sydney United, and Tristan Prendergast starts in goal. Number 3, Bailey Rule. Number 4, Adrian Vlastelica. Number 10 is Carlos de Oliveira. Number 11, Matthew Hatch. Number 13 is Alessandro Lacalandra. Number 14, Liam McGing. Number 17, Michael Glassick. Number 23, Mason Wells. 32 is Leroy Jennings. And 43 is Michael Pratazina. Sydney United in the white, set to get us underway. Our referee, Brodie Merchant. Wolves in the red. Well, we've had all sorts of weather today here on the south coast, and right now it's very overcast and raining. Had a bit of sun, a bit of glare, a bit of wind as well. But it looks like we may be set for some rain as the game kicks off here. Originally supposed to have been played at Macedonia Park in Berkeley, just down the road, but of course the rain that we've had has seen that grass pitch unable to be used. So up here at Ian McLennan Park, the region's only full-size synthetic facility, as the Wolves look to make an early impression in this game. Had a good record against Sydney United last year, won both encounters, and they were both interesting games. Remember the one up at Albert Butler Memorial Park, which was a 3-2 win for the Wolves. They were 2-0 down at half-time and worked their way back into the game. Here's Lachlan Scott, who bagged a brace in the 2-1 win last season in round 2. That's a nice flick from Woon Sub Sim, and Nicholas Olsen's got some space and can find Mashivecchio out on the left-hand side. Plays a ball in for Raphael Liai and smashes it across the edge. Here's Olsen, and it's deflected off Vlastelica, I think it was, or one of the defenders, and onto the post. Well, that would have been a dream start for the Wolves. It was a clever pass through midfield from Woon Sub Sim, a good flick, and Olsen pushed it out to the left, and they were away, the Wolves. Switched out to the right-hand side now with Mason Wells for Sydney United. Looks to go past Ben Geisen and does. Kanaizumi cuts it out. Here's Nick Olsen, and Woon Subsim can find Scott. Pushed out to Raphael Liai. Here's Olsen. To play some neat stuff through here, and Olsen will get a shot. Played through, and here's a chance for Lakalandra down the left. Is flagged offside by assistant referee Matthew Harris. On the other side is Lachlan Hines, and rounding out the official team is Luke Chapman, the fourth official. Bit of head tennis here, and Marcus Beattie, who I think is at right back, but is playing well advanced, and it's a good ball into the channel for Raphael Liai, who will need support. Finds Lachlan Scott, who does well to get out of trouble and is on the edge of the box. Almost deflected in for Marcus Beattie. So both these teams suffered defeat last round, and for Sydney United 58, it means they're still only holding the one win to start 2025, and a big part of their issues have been goal scoring. The equal second lowest in the competition with 7 goals is Nicholas Olsen. Draws a free kick for the Wolves, and they continue their high-intensity start. Of course, it was Sydney United and the Wolves who were both fighting it out for finals football towards the back end of the year, and it looked like the Wolves might get there, but a couple of poor results, including one, I remember, a 0-0 draw with Spirit right at the end, gave Sydney United the advantage in that battle for finals football. It's as if it might be Woon Subsim or Nick Olsen to take it straight into the wall. Pushed out for Raphael Liai. Chooses to keep some safe possession. Here's Ben Geisen. Out for Mashivecchio. Not the best of passes for Anagnostopoulos, and they can break away here as Carlos de Oliveira pushes down the right. And it's a great ball across. Wolves player himself. Woon Subsim will take the throw-in down again. Lakalandra trying to battle for it, and Bunal draws the foul. Switched out for Mashivecchio down the left. City United will hope to try and get some control in this game, but it's a loose touch on the far side by Carlos de Oliveira, which will allow the Wolves to continue their pressure. Scott finds Olsen. And Agnostopoulos will keep it, and Buna will knock it back to Oliver Yates, who's continuing in that number 1 spot at the moment. Leroy Jennings draws a free kick, and that's some much-needed territory for Sydney United, 58 early on. So the weather's changed again here. It's a bit of sun popping through after that downpouring of rain a few minutes ago. Here's Hatch. It's a good ball in, a good shape to the ball, well headed away. Mashivecchio looks to get past Wells and does so. Agnostopoulos finds Lachlan Scott, who couldn't hold on to it. Here's Vlastelica, who plays a lovely ball over the top to find Mason Wells. It's been better the last few minutes, this, from Sydney United. Lucky really not to be behind after that chaos in the box. It was a shot that deflected off a United 58 defender onto the post before being cleared away, and that would have given this game a different complexion. As it stands, still 0-0 as we approach the 10-minute mark in this one. Here's Hatch. Pushed out for Leroy Jennings to put a ball in. Cleared away by Ken Izumi. Vlastelica will deal with this. Starting to compete more now, and they're reaping the rewards of that. Sydney United 58 with some settled possession, but it's a giveaway, and McGinn cleans that up, which was important because Rafael Leai was looking set to go. Swing and a miss from Ken Izumi, but it will be a corner. Of course, the Wolves conceded from a set piece against St George, their most recent defeat, their only defeat so far of 2025. So I'm sure there'll be an added focus on ensuring that doesn't happen here. In-swinging delivery, but a bit short, and Olsen will take it away. Looks to find Rafael Leai, who's got some pace. Got to take on Matthew Hatch, but doesn't get that pass right for Mashivecchio. An excellent pick out from Nicholas Olsen. Here's United 58, pushing it down the right-hand side again. Bailey Rule finds it for Mason Wells. Clever flick. He's still got it. Ben Geisen and Bannery Ken Izumi deal with that. Mashivecchio for an Agnostopoulos, who couldn't quite pick out Lachlan Scott. Good ball from Hatch for Leroy Jennings, but Bunal deals with that really well. Here's Marcus Beattie. Finds Leai, and there's a slip from Hatch, and Scott can escape down the right. Liam McGinn will clear that away as the Wolves have another chance. Woon subs in with a long throw. Bunel got his head to it, but did appear to shove his opponent in the back. But as I was mentioning with Sydney United 58, they have had a tough start to this season. They're just with the one win and a fair few draws in there, including a draw with Spirit in round 6, which, as we see, United 58 work it down the right. Ben Geisen wins that, but that was a good draw against the still unbeaten NWS Spirit in round 6, but round 7 was a defeat to Marconi, a narrow defeat, admittedly, just 2-1. So they're competitive in games and competitive against the top teams in this competition, but those results are still eluding them at the moment. Olsen wraps his boot around that for Mashi Vecchio. Here's Geisen. Raphael Leai and gets the ball in, but Prendergast with a good save. Ball arrives with Leroy Jennings down the left. Carlos de Oliveira in midfield finds Bailey Rule. Rotating the ball nicely now through midfield as Pratasina plays it out for Leroy Jennings. Matthew Hatch with a chance to get the ball in, and it's an excellent ball. Was offside in the middle from Lacalandra, but it was a good ball in nonetheless, and there has been room afforded, particularly on this left-hand side for United 58, for Matthew Hatch to get the ball into the box. But with United 58, they have had some interesting scorelines. Started the year with that 2-2 draw to Sutherland and then lost to Sydney FC. The 0-0 draw with Manly before that win over the Wanderers. But here's Lacalandra down the right-hand side. It was a great position for him. Leroy Jennings had made his way down the field as well, but difficult to say what went wrong for him there. He seemed to get caught in two minds, perhaps, between shooting or finding Jennings on the left of the box. They've settled a little bit, United 58, after that early start. However, the Wolves are continuing to pick the ball up in midfield in space as Olsen finds Marcus Beattie with a first-time ball cleared away. Here's Jennings. Matthew Hatch. Jennings being forced back into the corner, and that's a really nice pass. And they can get moving here as Lacalandra picks it up. Holds it up well to find Jennings and Hatch. Beating the Wolves' press here. Find a good ball into midfield for De Oliveira. That's well played. Well played to get out of trouble and get the ball moving up the field. And almost in behind the Wolves' back line. Here's Machiavecchio. It's been end-to-end stuff here. Corner ball for the Wolves. Banri Kanaizumi will come forward for this, as will Harrison Busnell. Ben Geisen coming up as well. Here is Olsen with the delivery in for the Wolves. Can they find a lead? Not quite, and here's a counter-attacking opportunity for United 58. Not many options, but it's pushed out well. Here's Hatch down the left, and it'll be a throw-in. He did well, did Michael Pratazina, to pick that ball up and keep a hold of it with several Wolves players around him and get his team up the field. Jennings back to Hatch, who have been combining well early on here, and they've been building some nice combinations. Here's De Oliveira with a pocket of space to find Hatch, who can cut this back. Well cut out by Bunel. A discussion over whether that may have been a hand, but you'd be unlucky for that one to go against you, particularly given it was at such close quarters for the defender. And the rain's restarted. De Oliveira drops it in near post, and it's come all the way. Michael Glassick with that chance. Came at him quickly, and he could only find it straight at Yates. And here's Machiavecchio, who can drive through the middle of the field and hits a shot. A low shot. There was a bit of power behind it, but Prendergast has made the save. It's been noticeable that for the Wolves, when they are defending set pieces, they can break forward quickly. Here's Hatch. Finds Leroy Jennings. Back for Hatch, who tries to play a ball into that channel. Couldn't quite find it. Here they come again. United 58. Hatch. On for Lacalandra. Here's Carlos de Oliveira, who will hit it. And it was a phenomenal effort. The dip on that was superb, but off the crossbar. Both teams now hitting the woodwork, and that was a fantastic strike. They're combining well, United 58. When they get the ball moving high up the field, they're also picking up those pockets of space, particularly De Oliveira, who on several occasions now has been able to turn and have a bit of space centrally. Here's Lacalandra in a foot race with Ben Geisen. He wins that one, does the Wolves youngster, who's been very much a utility player for Warren Grieve. He's currently doing a job at left back. Dylan Ryan still out injured after that knock he picked up against the Wanderers. Also, no sign of Darcy Madden, who continues to miss out. So the ball is switched over. Couldn't quite find Mason Wells. They're also missing the Wolves' Sebastian Hernandez, who was part of a devastating attack, or the prospect of a devastating attack for the Wolves, with Rafael Leai, Nick Olsen, Machiavecchio, Beattie, plenty of pace going forwards, and he was an important part of that. So we're still yet to see him. And that's a clever ball into the channel for De Oliveira. Here's James Anagnostopoulos. Leai can turn. Plays it into Olsen under pressure. Here's Bunel. Look to go back to Ollie Yates. Midway through the half, and both teams have come well within centimetres of scoring. The Wolves started the game really well and seemed to have United 58 backpedaling, but some consistent possession for the visitors has helped them build into this game, particularly through Hatch, who's been able to pick plenty of combination passes with the likes of Jennings, De Oliveira. De Oliveira can hold on to it. Here's Hatch again, back to Vlastelica. Hatch finds Jennings, and Michael Glasic's flipped it in for Alessandro Lacalandra in the box, and there's space at the far post. Top save from Oliver Yates, but Mason Wells finishes the second chance. It's 1-0 Sydney United, and you'd have to say it's probably deserved. They've played some really good stuff, particularly down that left-hand side, and that's where the chance came from. Mason Wells had buckets of space at the far post, and it was an original top save from Yates on the volley from Wells, but the ball came back to him and they couldn't prevent it going over the Wolves. 1-0 Sydney United 58 lead. It has been interesting to note how high Marcus Beattie is sitting on this right-hand side. He's very much out of line. I'm sure deliberately, but from a tactical perspective, he is out of line with the rest of that back four. Ben Geisen sitting in, and Ken Izumi and Busnell coming over to cover. Lacalandra picked up that space in the channel and found himself in the box with ample space. Can the Wolves respond here? They started well enough. In sub-sim, nearly got caught on it. Finds Nick Olsen, who's drifted out to the right. Great ball for Marcus Beattie, but Vlastelica will get there first. Bunel can flick that on, but Prendergast will catch that confidently. Pushes it out to Bailey Rule. And for Carlos de Oliveira, here's Glasic, and Leroy Jennings may have just been offside as he made that run. But you can see the intention, and there is space there in between Bunel and Marcus Beattie for the Wolves, and that's been exploited well by Lacalandra, and Jennings on that occasion, narrowly offside. Good hold up from Scott, but can't pull out the pass. He's battled though, and he's won it. Looks to go past Hatch, who defends well, and he's had an excellent game so far. Moon Subsim intercepts it. Here's Beattie. Scott tries the neat flick, couldn't get it off. Lacalandra finds Jennings. Back for Lacalandra. Izumi will shepherd that away. Copped a shove on the way there into the fence, but it'll be a Wolves throw-in. Classic heads it forward. Here's Kanaizumi to pick it up. Vecchio picks it up in a tight spot. And Agnostopoulos has pushed it to Ben Geisen. Here's Nick Olsen, who is unable to get onto that as it spins away for a throw-in. Here's Hatch down the line to Jennings, which has been a regular combination for Sydney United. Vecchio picks it off. They'll look to go back though, the Wolves. Well, that was the Wolves' first defeat of the year against St George last week. And this could be a good chance. Here's Scott to find Marcus Beattie. Cleared away by Vlastelica. We're in sub-sim with a chance to put the ball in towards Scott, and it's back for Beattie. Shot blocked, and Vlastelica can come away with it. Picks a lovely ball for Mason Wells. Kanaizumi crashes into the winger, but he'll keep going. There's a ball across Lacalandra. It's missed him. Here's D. Oliveira. They'll keep it going. Bailey Rule. D. Oliveira finds Leroy Jennings, who's dragged one wide of the left post. This game certainly hasn't been short of chances. As we head through the half-hour mark. Sydney United with that 1-0 lead. Mason Wells at the far post. Win sub-sim for Kanaizumi, but it's intercepted. And here comes Mason Wells. Lacalandra. Well cut out by Yates. Lachlan Scott, and that looked like a push in the back, but Leai's picked it up in a good position. Here's Raphael Leai running at Matthew Hatch. Knocked back for Lachlan Scott, who's back on his feet. So play a 1-2 off a United 58 player there to get it back, but didn't come off, and they'll get the ball back though, the Wolves. And Agnostopoulos, that's a good ball. Leai flicked for Nick Olsen. As I was saying, that was the first defeat of the year for the Wolves, and had a chat with Coach Warren Grieve after the win against the Wanderers, and it was interesting listening to him talk about where he thought the team would be at this stage of the year. He was looking for them to really be hitting gear in round 3 or 4, and he felt after that Wanderers game he was starting to see some of the signs that he wanted to see of the team hitting their straps, as he put it, but they followed that up with a defeat. So we'll see how they react to that loss. Here's Pratazina. And it'll be a goal kick. But again, those balls into the channel. Looking to play a little bit more direct sometimes. Sydney United 58, because they do have those quick front players who are making some intelligent runs in between the centre-backs and the full-backs. And that's where the goal came from. Lacalandra, who ran onto it in a good position and picked out Mason Wells, who had ample space at the back post. It was a good save from Yates, and then the follow-up was tapped in. But here's Olsen in the box. Clipped wide with that cross. I better spell this for the Wolves. A good response to going behind. They certainly haven't gone back into their shells by any means. They've continued to get the ball up the field, and they've had some good territory. Jennings wins the foul, and that's been really good for United 58 down this left-hand side. Hatch and Jennings being able to hold the ball up and prevent that press from seeing them lose the ball. And Hatch, again direct for Lacalandra, but Ken Izumi had the head start and is clipped. Here's Ken Izumi, finds Woon Sub-Sim, and Agnostopoulos plays it forward for Nick Olsen, who's got Liai making a good run. Here's Raphael Liai, who's got space. It was on his weaker side, and it lacked the power and the direction to trouble Prendergast, but there was almost a bit of chaos at the back. Liam McGing ended up poking it away. Prendergast couldn't quite get up and hold on to the ball. It's another chance for the Wolves, and they've been doing well in that regard. An equaliser before half-time would be very useful in the context of this game. Here's Woon Sub-Sim. And it was Bunal at the back post, who drifted round and was unmarked, but cleared away just before it got to him. Here's Anagnostopoulos for Geisen. Prendergast will roll it out for Matthew Hatch. Here's Carlos de Oliveira dropping deep to get on the ball. Lovely switch for Mason Wells. Here's Bailey Rule. Gets the ball in, cleared by Ken Izumi. They'll keep a hold of it, United 58. Here's Pratazina pushing it out for Matthew Hatch. Can't get past Beatty. He does want to get that down the line, and Raphael Liai is very quick, but Lasalitsa slides in. Lachlan Scott, and it's turned into a real shank, but Ken Izumi will keep it. Ben Geisen will have to deal with that. Rule heads it forward. Lacalandra in for Pratazina. Here's Scott. Yeah, and that's a good ball for Marcus Beatty to run into the space and use that more advanced position. It's a drifting ball over the top. All the space has been on this right-hand side for Marcus Beatty, and I'm sure Warren Grieve will be hoping for a touch better of a delivery. from the fullback. Michaelandra does well to hold on to it, but Hatch can't do the same. The Wolves keep their settled possession. Here's wound sub-sim for Marcus Beattie down the right. Finds Leai, who will need to hold on to this against Hatch. Olsen with some space. Tries to spin that ball in for Beattie, who'd made the inverted run, which he's done on several occasions in this game, finding space in the middle of the field. Held up by Mason Wells. Here is Pratazina. Back for Hatch. He's been doing well in there as Michael Pratazina in that midfield area. It's been a real difficult task for the Wolves to pick up. He scored against NWS Spirit in round 6. And he's also been a really effective member of the team in this game. Rotating well in midfield with the likes of De Oliveira to consistently pick the ball up in good space. Switched out for Mason Wells on the right-hand side. And it will be a goal kick for the Wolves there. Patrick Antelmi still, I think, suspended. No sign of him on the bench for United 58, so that's a centre forward they're missing, but Lakalandra has been excellent up there so far. In his absence. Well, a little under 5 minutes left of regular time in this one, and the pace of the game that we saw early on has fizzled out a little bit, but still the game firmly in the balance. And that's a well-held line from the Wolves, which is something they're going to need to do a little bit better if they want to stop the speed of Lakalandra from causing them problems with the runs in behind. As the Wolves play it forward, here's Scott. Beattie on the overlap. Leai's got some space, so does Olsen. Deflected out towards Mashivecchio. Here's Geisen for win sub sim, and Beattie now. They're well set in their shape, United 58. Leai wins sub-sim. Scott. Here's Leai. Look to try and pace in behind. He couldn't get past Hatch, and they'll look to play out comfortably through Glassick. Here is Michael Pratazina, but it's given away, and Olsen finds Lachlan Scott again. Wins sub-sim with a ball to no one, despite of 3 options being around him. Seem to be building well here, the Wolves there. Keeping United 58 pinned back for the time being. Here's the goal scorer, Mason Wells. Mason Wells, that was his 3rd of the year. And his first since the opening rounds of this year's competition. Of course, the former MacArthur Academy player. Here is McGing, who takes it forward and plays it to Glassick, who can run forward. Hatch is well advanced, as is Leroy Jennings, who's flagged offside, not for the first time. They're getting a few more of those now, the Wolves. They've smartened up to the way in which United 58 were looking to use that speed of their players in behind and looking to stretch that Wolves back line. Wastelitzer plays it forward, and Geisen clears it away. Bit of a collision from Scott, but Nick Olsen will drive forward. Looks to get past Wastelitzer. Scott can't find Olsen back with the 1-2. Now it's United 58's turn to get on the counter-attack. There's some space again on the left-hand side for Hatch. Runs it back to Glassick. Can turn. Looks to find Mason Wells, which he does. Mashivecchio back there. Here's Wells. Finds the Oliveira. Clever ball clipped around the corner from Pratazina, but couldn't find that incisive ball in the box. We're about to find out how much added time there'll be. And it will be just a single minute. Hasn't been too many stoppages. It's been a pretty free-flowing game. And Agnostopoulos will put the ball up, and Liai could cause a problem for Vlastelica here, but that's well defended. Just calmly nod it back to Prendergast. It's an awkward ball, and Yates will come for that. Wells can't keep it in. Well, that's halftime here. City United leading the Wolves 1-0. It was Mason Wells with the goal in a very interesting and mostly high-paced half here at Ian McLennan Park. We'll be back for the second half in around 15 minutes' time.
1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2.
It's like they're playing at 5 at the back, but
1, 2,
not.
3, 4.
Well, yeah, they're playing what I call odds. Odds and evens, I call it. 4 is evens, 5 is odds. Is it 3, is it 5, whatever. But it's kind of like they're playing 5, but Marcus is getting back a lot more than Alex.
1, 2.
It's kind of
1,
like
2.
an unsymmetrical 5. Like when, you don't see the great 5 in a line, it's kind of, you're seeing the 4 of them, and then Alex is like back to not back. Which is weird, like, I'm sort of asking when he's back. It's always interesting with nose, like, because I remember when Hayden Giroux broke his nose, and he was back the next week, because he was just like, well, all I can do is break it again, as opposed to Dylan, who's out for a few weeks.
He said he had to get his nose straight.
Really?
You don't want to get it spread across your face.
It may be different, like going up for headers versus...
Yeah.
But, I mean, Giroux still in goal. It's still not a...
1, 2. One, two, yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I was going to say, I think the problem is, he doesn't have a right foot to finish at least. I think he's always trying to get it on his left foot to finish. I was going to say, I think he's got a right foot. His left foot's just that good that he works harder to get it onto it. Hopefully the microphone's not on.
We're not, but when we come back out, we get a nice shot of the top of your head.
Okay.
And me not saying what I just said. Okay. I've had my head on camera enough in the last 2 weeks. I don't need to get it on there anymore. It's been my communal greeting to everyone in the last week. Oh, I saw you on TV. I saw you on TV. What? Melbourne, Weck, or Socceroos?
I also saw you.
Which
I think
one?
it was the Hawks. I was sitting there, you know, with GPR, they all do their like jersey handout thing.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, oh no, that guy.
Was it between interviewed in Melbourne and then Melbourne stuff, and then Hawk, Weck, and then Socceroos, so that he zoomed in.
Hey, I think the recording's still on because people on YouTube are listening to the conversation. I just got a heads up. So I don't know if it's...
Oh, I love it.
Lucky we're saying...
I think so, something bad.
But Ronnie goes, I was just going to miss his call, so I can hear his conversation talk about Hayden Giroux with the broken nose. And, oh, it's on there.
Microphone is on. Oh, lol.
second this season. I did, yes. Yeah. Got that crickety scaffolding. It's not too bad. It's different. Oh, it's actually, it's been really good this. The variety of stuff that I've done. Like writing, features, previews, I've done that course, and commentate. So it's wonderful the kind of breadth of content that you get to that. Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good help. Yeah, no, absolutely. Plenty of stuff to do down here. I'm sure he enjoys it. Back to sitting on my wooden bench. Interesting experience. Quite the chances. I don't think they've not been in the game. Post, yeah.
Well, welcome back here for the second half of Wollongong Wolves against Sydney United 58. The visitors currently leading 1-0. Mason Wells with the goal. It was a good first half, an interesting one. Both teams had their spells of good play. As we see a ball switched out towards Beatty, but he can't hold on to it for the Wolves. started the game quite well in that first few minutes, hit the post, but United 58 quickly worked their way into it and played the ball well. Held possession nicely, were able to beat the Wolves' press on several occasions and grabbed the goal to take the lead. Scott to Alex Chivecchio. James Magnostopoulos and Geisen to pick it up. And Scott rolled into the forward and he can turn. Just noticed for United 58, Mario Chabal is on for the away side, a new option in midfield. Looks as if Pratazina has come off, replacing a more experienced option now in Mario Chabal. Combined with Carlos de Oliveira, who was effective in that first half, hit the crossbar with a superb strike and has picked it up here. The ball just bounces away for a Wolves goal kick. So some good options for United 58 on that bench, the likes of Richard Darko, Stefan de Robillard as well. Winning the game though, so always considering that context, and that was a winning possession from Auckland Scott, but he couldn't find a ball forwards towards Olsen or Leai. Scott as well to pick it up, can't hold on to it, or goes into the 50-50 challenge with Leai. Neat turn, here's Raphael Leai. Great block. McGinn. Would have stunned that one. Nice turn from Leai to pull back on his left foot, and here's Nick Olsen. Just wide for Marcus Beattie. Just deflected and Russ Litzer will clear it away. And I'm doing a good touch forward to find room subs in. Here's Magnostopoulos. There's a ball for Marcus Beattie, who can get another delivery in. Leroy Jennings with a desperate run back. Seem to drift the ball in. The Gospel catch that. They're taking their time. United 58 at the start of the second half. Of course, the Wolves flew out of the blocks with real high intensity opening the first few minutes, and perhaps that's in mind here. Here comes Bailey Ball forward towards Lakalandra. Nick Olsen. Right, good ball. Here's Olsen. Pushes it out to Mashi Vecchio on the right. Olsen overlapping. Scott. Sim, who has recycled possession plenty of times for the Wolves in this game, does so again. Mashi Vecchio. Weird sort of shove there from Chabau on Mashivecchio, and it'll be a free kick. There's Olsen back to Unal. Another free kick for the Wolves in a good position. They've not been without their chances by any means, the Wolves, in this game, even though they're behind. And Nick Olsen is certainly someone who can threaten from these type of set pieces, but he'll step away and it'll be a delivery into the box from Woon Sub-Sim. And Chabau bundled over there by Mashivecchio. They've had a good year so far, the Wolves, in terms of both in attack and defence. They're heading into this round. They only conceded 8 goals, which was the second best record in the competition. They also scored 14, which was the third highest. They've had plenty of draws though. All but 3 of their games have ended in a draw so far. Here's Scott with some nice footwork to play forwards for Lehigh. And here's Nick Olsen in the right of the box. Olsen looks to go around his byline and pokes it into the side netting. Oliveira for Jennings and his hatch. Noticeably less pressing from the Wolves at the start of this second half. It was something they were trying to do. They're happy to try and make the other 58 play their way out of that defensive area. One in midfield. The eye on the ball. Sim keeps it moving for Ben Dyson. Here's Kanazumi. And that Mistopoulos finds the eye. Marcus Beattie down the right. First time in for Wilson from Kanazumi. Scott can't keep a hold of it. Classic will come away with the ball and just to roll it in for Lackalandra, but Bunel's in front of him. Defends his channel well. Pushes it down the line. Here's Marcus Beattie again. In the story of this second half, the Wolves have had most of the ball. Still not creating a great deal of chances, but it's another free kick in a good position for them. You think this one might be a shot after the last free kick went into the area wasn't the best. Woon Sub-Sim and Nick Olsen both standing over it. Olsen into the wall. To him, deflected. And he almost spun into the far post. It'll be a corner so they can keep the pressure on Wollongong. Wilson will come across to take this corner. Played well by McGing. BC finds Lei. Too far for him to be able to keep that in. Another 58 for the player down here, Michael Classic. They made a substitution in midfield, have the away side, so this would be an inconvenience from that perspective. No Anthony Tomalich today. There's another option that can sit in that deeper role. We've seen Michael Glassick operate in. Underway after that injury concern, and Michael Glassick's back on the field. This will be a relief to Ante Juric on the United 58 bench. Again, knocks it up towards the box, but Kanazumi heads it away. Classic back on the ball. Finds Chabal. Patch will push it all the way back to Prendergast. On it back here. United 58, and here's Chabal. Bit of space for Jennings if he can find it on the left-hand side, but pushes it towards Mason Wells. Flat pass to De Oliveira, and then finds back to Mason Wells, who was offside but looked to clip it over Yates. The goalkeeper saved it. Didn't matter in the end though. That one up towards Lachlan Scott and brings it down as Mashivecchio. Arnold onto it. Chabal pushes his way through. Finds Lakalandra, who is offside. Lovely leap from Scott. Here's an Agostopoulos for Mashivecchio in the left of the box. Defending and Mason Wells. Clear it away. finds Win Sub Sim. Looks to steal in towards Nick Olsen, but given away. Strong tackle from Ben Geisen. Push towards Marcus Beattie. Stopulus. Scott Olsen. The eye. Can't poke it through. Kanazumi has just cleaned out who's quite displeased and has really aggravated the situation there. It was a poor challenge from Kanazumi. Certainly intent on taking him out to stop that ball going through to Lakalandra, who had found space in behind.
Yellow. And then the red. And then the red.
And there will be a caution for Mario Chabot. It was unnecessary to aggravate that situation. The caution was already going to come Henry Kanazumi's way.
Don't hit someone. Back on the other side of half.
That was another example, though, of Chabot picking up space in a good area and was one pass away from slipping in Lakalandra, who found some space in behind Kanazumi. Seems unjust to call it a clever foul from Kanazumi, but it was perhaps necessary in the context of that situation for Wollongong. He's busy, rolls it for Raphael Leai, who's got some space. Couldn't find Scott, and that's been the story of the second half of the Wolves. That combination play, our front third of the field has been a little bit off. And unfortunately for them, there's a great deal of opportunity to change that. They've of course got, as I mentioned in the first half, Sebastian Hernandez out at the moment. So they do have Damon Gray though as an option on the bench, who's has scored goals and probably the most senior of those attackers on the bench. Liam Ball and Sebastian Duarte, who have both been featuring a little bit off the bench for the Wolves in recent games. They're players who could come into it, but they're very much younger players, and the ones out there for the Wolves are those senior players. Good ball for Lakalandra. In the box. Didn't have the options he would have wanted, and Chabot will pick it up. It's Carlos de Oliveira. Finds Hatch. For Jennings, who we haven't seen too much of in this second half, but remains a threat. Who can keep the ball moving to Blastovitsa. Switched out towards Mason Wells, who's the difference at the moment in terms of his goal, and Bailey Rule on the overlap. Good ball cleared away from Anagnostopoulos. Wells will keep a hold of it. It's a lovely footwork, and he keeps a hold of it. Oh, that was lovely from Mason Wells. The neat spin to get past Wolves defence, and the cutback. It was a touch from Ollie Yates, but it was still in the middle, cleared away in the end. Jennings down the left-hand side. Classic. Instead of trip from Winston, there'll be a couple of opportunities for a free kick to be called there. Classic finds Rule. Rule lines up. Excellent technique on the strike, and he had the space to do it. Did Bailey Rule, the right fullback. He scored an unbelievable volley against Sutherland, I think it was, and that was a similar technique, and Oliver Yates punches it away. He's up with a bit of a missed kick, but it'll be a Wolves throw. For James and Agnostopoulos. Ben Geisen. Well past the hour mark now, and still a 1-0 lead for Sydney United 58. Mason Wells with the goal. But here's a chance for Scott to find Masciavecchio. Scott slightly behind the striker though. And Sub-Sing does want to battle back and win possession. Scott. Lastalitza comes off his thigh and it's just prevented from going for a corner. Ball out for Carlos de Oliveira. Again looks long to find De Oliveira. Wells back to De Oliveira. Inside Lacalanda, De Oliveira keeps hold of it. Newman rather cuts it out. Scott Olsen's taken that on the head, but he's still going. Drifts inside. Scott in some space if he can find him. Here's Scott. Hope for Alex Masciavecchio. Strong save from Prendergast. It was nicely worked from the Wolves. Certainly their best chance of this second half. And in terms of Olsen, he found Scott and able to poke it into Masciavecchio's path. His left foot. Will in fact be his last action of the game. Alex Masciavecchio is Damon Gray, who will come on now. Another attacking option for the Wolves, as I mentioned, probably the most senior one. Has scored a few goals and I hope he can have an impact here. Here's Olsen. Lovely play again from Shabao and Leroy Jennings. Landry going for a challenge, but it'll be a free kick regardless. The Wolves. And several free kicks in this second half that have at times disrupted the flow of the game. Hit that shot. Turns to the eye. Stropoulos pushes it wide for Nick Olsen. Some sort of a collision in the box for Wollongong, but they'll keep going regardless. Looks like we will see a substitution for United 58 very soon. As if maybe Richard Darko. course, that's his history against the Wolves. Him down at Christie Park. They somehow came back Spirit, but here's Bailey Rule in some space. It's missed. And tapped in. It's 2-0. Mario Chabal with the goal. And that's an important goal in the context of this game. They just had probably their best moment of the second half, the Wolves, and United 58 worked it well down the right-hand side. It was a good cutback, missed by the Wolves defence, and tapped in for a simple goal from Chabal. They will make that change now, Sydney United. Richard Darko on, Leroy Jennings off. It was simply constructed for United 58. There are murmurings of potential offside on the goalkeeper. I can't comment too much on it because I'm not privy to exactly what the issue was, but there were some complaints from Ollie Yates in the Wolves goal, and just generally they didn't seem too pleased with the goal of the Wolves, but it's still far too easy for Haley Rule to pick up the space that he did in the box. Oliveira with a good shot, good save from Yates. Big test of the Wolves' character here now. They responded well to going behind the first time, but didn't find the goal. Need to do something similar here, but then find that cutting edge. Damon Gray likely to sit a little bit higher than what Maschervecchio was. He's more of a striker than a winger, like Maschervecchio was. Scott rolls the ball for Olsen, you can't hold on to it. And just clattered into did Nick Olsen. I'm sure there would have been some degree of frustration in that challenge. Regardless of the offside decision, I think it's one of those ones they describe as a subjective offside, which means it's the interpretation of the referee rather than being a matter of fact, so to speak. Here's Wells, good free kick to win, and another chance for United 58 to assert further control. I want to take this one quickly. Bailey Rule had found some space. Wells will deliver it in, not the best ball, cleared away somewhat, and Olsen further. Damon Gray holds it up. Can he find the eye? It's not a bad ball with a bounce, but the eye might be able to get there, well defended by Ian McGinn, who's been good alongside Blastolitzer at the back, as is the whole back four. It's been a good team performance when you think about it from Sydney United 58. Disciplined. And they've taken their chances when they've come on the whole. They will think back though, the Wolves, to that Masciavecchio chance. That would have been 1-1, and then moments later it was 2-0. Ben Dyson comes forward. Damon Gray. Raphael Leai. One thing you do have to consider with this Wolves squad is that when they've got a fully fit team, there's plenty of options to choose from, but they have 3 players out at the moment, I think, and then with the squad they've got, it leaves them a touch light, particularly when you're chasing a game. It's nice footwork between Olsen and Scott. It's been a bit like that though. They've had to play a lot of neat, intricate stuff between the attackers rather than being able to find space because of how compact their opponents have been. Here's Kanazumi. Boone subs him. Towards Leai. I need a moment of magic from him. He's been in good form lately. They could do with another one of those goals now, but it's given away as Vlasic steams forward. For Chabau. Vlasic on the ball. Chabau. Mason Wells is an option, as is Vlasic, who's got some space. He might want to hit this. Tell that wasn't on his preferred foot or angle, and rolls into Yates' gloves. Well, the Wolves have got some tricky games coming up after this. They travel to Manly next week, and they've been good to start the year. As Scott picks it up. Here's Leai, here's some space. Can he get it on his left foot? Push back in for Lachlan Scott. That's a super save. Crucial stop. Lachlan Scott's still waiting to hit his form really in attack. Picks up a goal in the opening day against IPL Live Cup, but we haven't seen him hit the back of the net since. Played well against the Wanderers a couple of weeks ago. Didn't score, but was a vital part of the team, particularly in attack with his hold-up. That was a chance for him, but well saved from Prendergast. Probably the biggest save he's had to make so far in the game in terms of the position that Scott had picked up. Here's something impressive for the Wolves. Scott trying to get around sliding McGee, and Beattie will have it now. Wolves subsim on Scott. Gets away from Scott. And after that Manly game next week, they're at home against Sutherland, who have been one of the surprise packages of the season so far, with some impressive results, including that draw with Spirit yesterday. And then they travel to Sydney FC, the Wolves, which is no easy task either. The substitution again for the Wolves, Lachlan Scott. Going to be withdrawn after 81 minutes. It's been a disappointing game for him today. Again, another player who's instantly substituted after a miss. Liam Ball is going to be the option to come on now.
Yeah, volley!
Might have broken the offside trap, but called offside. United 58 also have some tough games coming up. Home games against Harpia and Rockdale. And they travel to St George FC, that is. So this is a good confidence boost ahead of that tough run. Here's Beatty, he picks it up. Can he find someone? Throws himself, rattles the post. Just won't fall for the Wolves. Funded back off the post, that did. Dyson moves it in field. Nutmeg pass. From Liam Ball, but it rolls away for a throw in as we see the rain setting again. It's been on and off the rain. Eight regular minutes to play. Again, there haven't been a huge amount of stoppages in this second half. Might only be 3 or so minutes, depending on how many stoppages we have in what remains. Marcus Beatty's had lots of space down that right-hand side, and final product has been a little bit lacking at times. Of course, there he thought had a shot himself and ended up striking the post. They've not performed poorly today, the Wolves. Perhaps in the second half have struggled to consistently create chances, but they've created ample to be on the score sheet, you think. Given away, rolled in. Here's Alessandro Lacalandra. Chops inside. Good save with the feet from Yates. That threat in behind, you'd think, is going to be more and more consistent from the visitors. Olsen plays it out to this right side for Beatty. Gets it back to Liam Paul for Damon Gray. Paul gets it back. Magnusopoulos finds who subs in. Tries to find Olsen, who will just about keep this in. Olsen towards Beatty and booted away. Vlastelica. Here's Magnusopoulos. The ball towards Olsen. Oliveira can come away with it. Here's Bailey Wall pushing down the right. Orlando picks it up. The Oliveira carries on and on the pass. On the whole, he's been good today. Has Carlos de Oliveira has helped United 58 keep that midfield moving, keep the passes moving, and he's actually been a decent threat in terms of the chances that he's created. He's playing great. Preparing a substitute on that far side. Not too long left in this game, and this will be their second win of the season and help push them back up into that finals conversation, which perhaps their performances have merited so far this season. as well look like they're going to make a change. Dylan King, the young player, to be given an opportunity. Substitution now and make it together. I'd like to see the board and who the Raphael Liai can come off and couldn't quite get it going. Today had a couple of chances, but victim to the issues of that whole Wolves front line, which is the aggressive defending of 58. Header away by again, and here is Ben Geisen to Magnistopoulos. No one. And Makalandra will try to come away with it. Kanaizumi for Bunal. Here's Nick Olsen. Out towards the young substitute ball. And they will make the change to the United. It's Makalandra to come off, and it'll be Stefan de Robillard. We'll play the final few minutes here in McLennan Park. Kanaizumi, still going Kanaizumi, but he couldn't keep hold of it. Magnistopoulos to Beattie. They have had a good chunk of the ball in this second half, the Wolves, but they've not done enough with it. Bunal forwards. Magnistopoulos. Dyson. Latest substitute, Dylan King. Bailey will take his time with this throw as we are 10 seconds away from finding out how much added time we'll have. And it will be 3 minutes to play. You'd think they'd be able to get over the line here, United 58, and they just about deserved the win. They played their football in the first half, but this second half has been about sturdy defending, which they've done really well, and also grabbed themselves a goal. Michael Glassick wins the free kick there, and he's been effective in midfield at the base and mopped up the danger well. Vlastelica and McGing solid behind him in the centre-back slots. Walker's nicked a corner out of that at a great time. I think the goal would be to keep possession in the corner and see out the win. Oliveira to Chabal and Robillard on it. To Oliveira who gets a shot and very close to picking out the far corner. Can they find a consolation? The Wolves. Bunel chips one up. Put it away by Bailey Rule. Hatch. Volley's clear. Bunel. Loose first touch. Chidako. Can find Chabal. That was a lovely touch. Doesn't have the speed to keep it, but got it under control well. Damon Gray to Bloom Subsim. Kick out a Wolves player. Less than 30 seconds to go in this game. His ball. Dyson gets on. Drop to Olsen. Shot and it's a goal. Probably too late, but it's an excellent goal from Olsen. A well taken shot. Still hasn't kicked it forwards, he's just done it then. A couple of moments for United 58 when Classic went down and they just rolled the ball back to the goalkeeper when the free kick was going to be from further up. But I think there wouldn't be any time for the Wolves to get back into this one. Last chance, they've got to get it up there first. This is offside from Chabal. Pick up a second one. And that's full time here at Ian McClellan Park. City United 58 prevailing 2-1 against the Wolves. Mason Wells gave United 58 a half-time lead before Mario Chabal added a second. Nick Olsen grabbed a very late consolation goal, but in the end they couldn't get back into it. The Wolves, it's an important win for United 58 to help them push back up the table. I've been Tim Gibson. Thanks for tuning in.
How are we doing?